Your Excellency, President Kagame, thank you so much for joining us. It's really great to see you here. My first question is, how will Africa be able to have adequate vaccines for its people?
Well, simply, Africa has to be equal partner with the rest of the world. And when it comes to manufacturing vaccines, instead of waiting for vaccines from those places where they manufacture them. And right now, Africa is busy trying to do exactly that, to find partners to start manufacturing vaccines on our continent. We have IFC, we have European Union, we have other partners that are willing to come and do exactly that with our continent. Once that is up and running, I think we should be able to get vaccines we need on time or at the same time with the rest of the world.
One of the key conversations that is happening right now on the continent is the establishment of an mRNA vaccine plant. Could you tell us a little bit more about that and where you are in the process in conversations with manufacturers, etc.?
Yeah, in fact, there are going to be, like, so far 3 hubs on our continent. And these countries are advanced on that. That is South Africa, Senegal, and Rwanda. We are going to be these hubs on the continent where manufacturing of vaccines is going to happen. For Rwanda in particular, we have partnered with some industries that are specialized in mRNA technology. This is a new technology that has wide applications in agriculture or other diseases. And so we have already discussed with the people with that technology. We are discussing with people who will help with the financing. And I think in a few months we should hear a different story.
Speaking of financing, and you know better than anyone on the continent how hard our governments have hard-pressed they have been for revenue following the pandemic. Is Rwanda looking to return to the international financial markets to sell a Eurobond?
Every country in the world, more or less, they are looking for ways to mobilize funds to invest because of how economies have been affected by the pandemic, and Rwanda is no exception. So to begin with, Rwanda has been having a very good B+ credit rating. We want to build on that. We have a solid debt management framework. So the Eurobond is one good option that will provide us with the resources that we are looking for.
President Kagame, French President Emmanuel Macron has apologized for the French role in the genocide. What were your thoughts when you heard that?
It is very important that there was first this visit of President Macron and the statement he made that was important, that outlined the basis of the apology he made to Rwanda and Rwandans, referring to the French involvement in our history in the genocide that took place in our country. This was very important in terms of not really so much about the apology, but about the truth of what happened. I think he came out on the side of the truth. Admitting this responsibility was important. important in many ways, because in the recent years, we have noticed increase in the denial, in the revision of the genocide history, and all kinds of narratives beginning to form as if really to create a different story. So, and France has been a big part of that. So with the truth that came from President Macron and the admission he made of France's responsibility, I think this helps to manage this otherwise negative development that we have noticed in the recent years.
Now that that truth has been spoken, will Rwanda seek more economic opportunities with France?
Inevitably, with the better relations and on the basis of this truth that has come out and putting things in largely the right perspective, we shall see, and we are likely to see better cooperation and joint investments in places and areas that matter for our development as Rwanda, and I'm sure in the end it benefits France as well. This kind of cooperation is very important, and we are looking forward to that and building on leaving this ugly history of ours behind us and being able to forge ahead is what Rwanda is looking for.
What would you say to international investors who are looking at Africa, wanting to invest, wanting to seek partnerships in the context, however, of a really difficult economic and health pandemic situation on the continent? How do you see the future of partnerships and investment in our current context?
I think there is absolutely hope for that to happen, the investments to happen in Africa by different countries or other continents. One, it has to be clear, when sometimes Africa has had problems, we still have problems, but the analysis of those problems, I think, are mainly put out of context. It's as if there are no problems elsewhere, but I think even in other places, even the rich countries have their own problems. So what we do, for example, in Africa, it's a matter of stability, it's security, it's so that those who are looking to invest can feel comfortable, they have their investments secure. Now, there are different areas that are problematic on our continent, but those problems in those areas are also being addressed. There are other areas where even when they have problems, you can invest as well as the problems that are being addressed at the same time. Then we have countries in Africa that actually don't have any problems to worry about when people are making investments. So
pardon me, I was going to say, and the Continental Free Trade Area Agreement is a really key part of this, isn't it?
It is a key part of that. It is one of those things Africa did not have to wait to put in place before we address all the problems. So African Continental Free Trade Area is going to be the largest almost in the world. And it helps more intra-trade on our continent, one country to another or among ourselves, but it also helps to create this very huge market to, in fact, attract investments from other areas, because this is a lucrative market, very big, and again, in the background, there is going to be the immense resources on our continent that the world actually needs. So we just have to make these loose ends meet so that capital, different funds, resources can really be invested in and with Africa.
Rwanda's President Paul Kagame. Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
It's a pleasure, always. Thank you, Vaji.